Heyo, my Planet Coaster friends, Johnny 5 Alive here, and welcome to Planet Coaster 2, Update 1. We got a patch today, and the first ever DLC, the Thrill Seekers Pack. Ultra Spin Coaster. So this pack is basically adding in a few extra coasters and a few extra flat rides. Well, this might not seem like the most exciting pack in Planet Coaster 1. You know the possibilities, the endless possibilities that you can do with flat rides and coasters with the new attachment gizmos in Planet Coaster 2. Look at this craziness. All these new attachment points are going to give us a lot of creativity, which is good for flat ride spotlights. But we also have word from the developers on the new update 1.1, as well as future updates, and this could impact my potential ideas for a future contest, as well as the patch notes to go through here. So I want to hear what they have to say before we determine what we're going to do for our contest.
Look at what we've been working on the enhancements for flumes and slides as part of update 1, coming on Thursday the 12th of December.
We're also taking a sneak peek at our progress towards some further changes that we had hoped to include in Update 1.
We're continuing to work on those behind the scenes to ensure that the best experience when it's ready for you, the players. So let's slide in.
So there are some new changes to the flumes, which we're going to see here, but not all of them are in.
That's right, in Update 1 we've got a lot more natural movement as your guests and your inflatables move down the flumes and slides that you've been creating. As they move down through them, they'll be moving naturally a bit more left and right, and there's a lot more movement as they bounce off the sides. So this is great. The extra movement is great. I wonder how that's going to affect the camera. What my biggest issue personally with the flumes has been the camera can be janky at times, especially going through the flume elements, right? The Venus flytrap, the tubes, as well as the toilet bowl, and all the different elements that are in the game. The sway is nice, but is the camera going to be fixed? So that is something I'm going to have to jump into game and check. Just so happens that yesterday, Chant and I did record a whole bunch of flumes before the update. Now you can add multiple people.
And then here you can change the interval to however you want, increasing it.
So that's good. So what's coming in the future?
Show you a sneak peek at some of the progress we've made already.
For example, one of the enhancements we've been working on is jetsoning, where your guests will be flung from your flumes and slides
jetsoning
high G-forces, such as when they go over humps or round sharp bends.
Now, this has some concerns.
We've also been working on adding more varied movement across special pieces.
Yes,
on the left,
here we go.
See the current route that all rafts take.
And how does that affect the camera?
Speed. And on the right, you can see a new, more direct route based on its slower entry speed.
Yeah, so at slower entry speed, it's not going to...
We're looking at high entry speeds.
High entry speed, you'll go around the tube. That is awesome. And we'll probably get a smoother camera as a result. Right? A smoother camera as a result. But the jettisoning thing is concerning, because if you have a flume right now that you think is good, right? And you're like, oh, it passes the results. It's, you know, I got a good rating on it. Right now, your guests are stickied to the flume, and it might not be a clear indication that your flume is bad. Sure, this is an egregious example here where it looks extreme and the guests will fly off. But if you made a flume that looked like this right now, and maybe we did a flume contest, for example, and then we wrote all the flumes and they did the job, they were great, and we have 100 submissions and, you know, they all get uploaded to the workshop. Then this update comes out and people are flying off all the flumes on all of your creations. Might be a good idea to wait for this update before we're doing a flume contest or something like that, and this could potentially make the camera improvements better as well. So there's some things to think about there, but these new sway features that they added in are great, and hopefully that fixes the camera as well as the DLC update. Good stuff. Let's go read the patch notes. So this is everything that actually came out today, Thursday the 12th, December 12th. You'll be able to update your game and enjoy a host of additions and enhancements arriving in our first major update, Planet Coaster 2. These include highly requested changes such as separate loading and unloading stations, which is awesome. And I've already previously mentioned this, like there is an elevator in one of the coasters, so you could do a station to an elevator to a station, which means you can make an elevator to take you to the top of your park. which is cool. There's a lot of things you could do with it. You can make a roller coaster that transports you to the other side of the park and then comes back a different way and is a completely different coaster, or at least a different coaster layout. UI and control adjustments, I'm curious to see how that feels. The ability to customize tracked and transport rides. So this basically means like we were able to add pieces to coaster cars, but we weren't able to do it to the track rides and transport rides. So now you can make a custom skin for your monorail or dark ride, which is really good. A new heat map for guest tolerances, glass and scenery pieces, enhanced guest movements on flumes, and much more. So the glass is a much requested change or feature piece that people wanted. So the extra movement, we just saw a video on that. Flume testing. Flumes and slides still need to be tested before open to generate excitement, fear, and nausea, but can now also be opened regardless of where the test dummy ends up. Previously, flumes and slide needed to end in a pool. Interesting. Wait, so if they end up halfway across the map, you can still open it? That is wild. Flumes and slides will now never close, even if the guests end on terrain paving. Weird. Okay. I guess we could make some bananas, let's game it out style flumes and the guests won't care. Guests don't react negatively to flumes that end on terrain and may choose to ride it again. What is happening here? Flumes can still be flagged as exceeding G-force limits, and whilst they still can be opened, guests may not choose to use them. So I guess they're adding the G-force. I don't think there was G-force limits or heat maps for vertical and lateral G-forces. So if that's been added in, if you do your G-forces properly, when the update comes when they get flung out, they should not get flung out if you were at least keeping an eye on your heat maps. So that's good. So you can kind of prep for the next update by looking at your G-force limits. I guess we'll start using flumes while the previous guest is riding down, allowing faster throughput. This is great. I've always had to sit there and fast forward to get onto the next one, and if they take off too fast, I'd miss the ride. So that's good. New pieces for the raft flume, a big bowl enclosed special piece, ultra wide pipe unenclosed, and piece with left and right variants. Added a build new button to Flume platform info panel for quick access to Flume slide creations. Added shortcut buttons to access flumes and slides for their Flume platforms and vice versa. Okay, that's a lot of good Flume changes. Pools, increase the height of waves emitted by wave machines. Increased? I already saw people putting so many of these in and breaking it. So now you could just do that faster. Increase the maximum length of the draw tool. Thank God. I've been having issues with this where I had to I get to the very end and be like, wow, that's great. I love that. Coasters and track rides can now have separate stations for loading and unloading. That's great. Improved indication for station entry exit sides. Rides. Scenery can now be added to the track and transport rides. Maintenance. Rebalance the maintenance management system. Controls and UI, PC only. Added the ability to edge scroll. Control rebinding. Added options to rebind mouse input and camera tilt. Control shortcuts. The delete key now opens the demolish tool if nothing is selected. Shift button now toggles multi-select on and off rather than requiring a hold. Wait, shift button default mapped now toggles multi-select on or off? Oh, it's a toggle rather than a hold. I like the hold. The toggle's gonna confuse me. I hope this is just an option that we can turn on and off in the settings, because I'm going to be like, wait, am I in multi-select? Am I not? Have I toggled it on? Have I toggled it off? I don't actually like that change, but we'll see. Angle snap, now placing down objects will be toggled on and off. A tick box in the info panel or using the G key default map. Angle snap when placing objects down. Okay. F keys now shortcut to browser tabs. Keys 8, 9, and 0 shortcut paths, scenery, brush, terrain, and respectively. Oh, so if I use 8, 9, and 0, I can get paths, scenery, and terrain. I'm going to forget that immediately. Added shortcuts to custom pool creation. Z now toggles acute angle joint. Right mouse button now consistently cancels objects placement for blueprints and non-blueprints. The camera now can be controlled using the arrow keys. But can't you normally use WASD? I guess that's just an extra option. Browser has now been redesigned to show custom coasters and rides inside browser and not in their own UI. I have to see that to understand it, but I think normally it brings up a window, right? So now it doesn't do that. Browser tabs are now able to be accessed while info panels are open, okay? Scenery browser menu now default open to create custom instead of blueprints. Any other browser tab will remember the option last opened by the player and open that menu. Oh, that seems handy. Added more detailed tooltips in the browser. Multi-select can now be activated on controller by pressing A button cross buttons. Added a selection of scenery pieces, including transparent glass. Coaster supports. That's actually great. Coaster supports is great. I made my own out of like cylinders. And fireworks. I didn't even realize those weren't in the game. That's great. General park construction. Guest limit can now be increased from 6,000 to 12,000 capacity in sandbox mode. Holy good googly boogly. Remove the Planet Coaster 2 logo from the queue paths. Facilities have a pop-up which offers a brief overview of what they do. Added a guest tolerance filter in the heat map mode. Heat map mode now provides additional support for colorblind players. The weather can now be overwritten to fix settings in sandbox mode via the forecast UI. Thank God. All right, so I can now change it to be rainy, change it to be sunny. This is huge. I've had so many coaster spotlights where I'm like, I guess it's cloudy and crappy and there's no sun hitting us today. Now I can have a control over that. The weather forecast UI now has temperate unit, which can be swapped between Celsius and Fahrenheit, and I do use Celsius, so that's good. All right, online, remove the workshop download limit. That'll make some people excited. For PC only though. I guess Xbox still has its limitations. And then bug fixes. I mean, here's a lot. I'm gonna see if anything stands out to me. Camera jitter on the vertical tilt track piece. I've noticed some jitters on the coasters, so they've altered some of that stuff. Guests no longer become stuck on the 360 flat ride. Scenery rating can now be improved on transport rides. The bug I'm looking for and trying to hunt it down is, did they fix it so the staff don't go on breaks even though when you tell them not to? Scenery will no longer block coasters from entering the testing state. Custom coasters now sort collectively set to alphabetical. Yay! Guests and staff. Let's see here. Guest navigation has been adjusted to reduce them getting stuck on otherwise functioning paths. Seen this often too many times. Guests can now use transport rides to leave the park after the park closes. Oh, that's smart. Result in issue where some janitors are not emptying bins in work zones. I've seen a lot of complaints in the comments about this. Navigation has been improved for guests on pool islands. Guests now vomit more often when they're nauseous. I actually haven't seen a single vomit pile or guest puke in Planet Coaster 2, so I guess that's a needed change. But it didn't say anything about staff taking their breaks when you have that option turned off in sandbox mode. A lot of career mode changes. Nothing here is standing out too much to me. Some of these objectives and career levels I haven't played yet, but it is good to see them rebalancing career mode and not just leaving it to die. I feel like career mode is an important aspect of the game that many people enjoy, including myself. And I feel like in Planet Coaster 1, it was sort of forgotten about and underdeveloped as well. So I'd like to see more career mode updates in the future as well. Sandbox mode. Resolved instances where guests did not spawn when lowering the guest limit. Copied parks now retain the guest limit from the original park. Career restrictions no longer present in parks that have been converted into sandbox parks or blueprints exported into sandbox parks. Okay. Resolved instances where the workshop would remain open in the background and lockout input for the player. Downloaded workshop saves no longer count towards career and sandbox park save slots. Workshop search tags no longer reset after selecting or subscribing to an item. Although the tags aren't really that great right now anyways, but that is definitely important. There's another major issue that they haven't addressed here. Sometimes when you update your blueprint, it releases your share code to the public, meaning that share code can now be claimed by somebody else, and there will be two items using the same share code, and it'll take you to their item instead of yours. And I don't understand why. I've had so many submissions where people are like, here's my share code, and it takes me to something that's not theirs. And then I'm like, okay, well, luckily they provided me a URL link, so I can just go to the website version of it. And then I look, and I see the share code is exactly the same share code that they sent me, which is somebody else's creation. Therefore, two creations have the same share code. And the two 2 or 3 times that I've seen this, all 3 of those creations had when you subscribe to it, had the update button, meaning the creator had updated the blueprint and now you have to update it in game, which meant, I guess, it released the share code. So try not to update your creations in the meantime, I think. But maybe there's another issue causing the share code to be overlapping with someone else's. I really don't know if that's the case. I'm just kind of making an educated guess based off the creations that I've seen that on all had updates to them. So I would have liked to see a change there, but maybe they're still unsure what's causing that. Or maybe they're not aware of it. I still don't even know what franchise mode is. It's just like Sandbox, but you make money and it goes on a leaderboard or something, right? I'm gonna have to go try it. Various audio issues, stability issues, localization issues, tweaks, various minor bugs. All right, I'm excited about this audio issues because I've seen a bunch so far. And then we got the Thrill Seekers DLC pack, 2 new coasters, 3 flat rides. Yeah, it's pretty underwhelming. I'm gonna just go to Steam and see. I'm gonna make an educated guess and say that it's mixed reviews. Let's see here, DLC. Yeah, so it's $12 and you're getting 5 rides, mixed reviews. I mean, it's like a couple bucks a ride, right? It's not the end of the world. I would have liked to see some sort of theming brought in with this pack, just something, right? Something else to play with other than the flat rides. But you know what? I'm here to support Frontier and Planet Coaster 2, so I'll buy it, I'll support it, and when people submit their, like, this could be cool, like this could be like a surfboard, or somebody could do something cool with the skin on this. I'm sure we're gonna see some really cool creations out of these, so having this in my game is good, but I'm not particularly excited to build with any of these myself, other than maybe the spinning coaster. I do love this. I think it was a really good coaster in Planet Coaster 1. We also didn't see a update to the Mine Train coaster, which the camera's broken. We'll have to just wait and see if they didn't put it in the patch notes or not. At least I didn't see it. Well, overall thoughts on this patch, it's good. They're addressing a lot of the things with the game. They added in a DLC, and the game's only been out for a month. It's good news. However, in direct comparison to that of Planet Coaster 1, this time 8 years ago when Planet Coaster 1 released, we got a free Christmas update with a whole bunch of Christmas scenery. We got the Missy Goods vendor shop and all that. The donuts, the chocolates. We got so many fun things. The gingerbread house build set, the icing. There were just so many things that we just got to celebrate the holidays and to get us building in the festivities of Christmas and that sort of thing. And we don't have that here. And it's like, we gotta wait till next year. I wanted to do my Missy Goods shop, you know? It's a bit disappointing to not have that Christmas stuff. Even if I had to pay for it, it would have been fine. But in comparison to that of Planet Coaster 1, it is a little bit disappointing not to have that. But I'm okay. I'll survive. People will do some cool stuff with the basic shapes and with what's in the game currently. I think it's, they're busy trying to make all these fixes and adjustments that they probably just saw a free Christmas update as something that's not feasible. And most likely what we will get eventually, most likely next year for some sort of holiday festive update, will probably be a lot bigger and chunkier than what we had in Planet Coaster 1. And potentially even have to pay for it. But it, by not doing it now means I can expect something epic next year, as well as like Halloween and all that other stuff. So I look forward to that, but these changes are good enough, but there's nothing here really, other than the coaster trains where you can let them on, and then the customizing of the transport rides and track rides. There's not really a whole lot here between the update and the DLC that's got me going, oh, I gotta go do that in game. Personally, the draw tool is definitely nice, but yeah. With all that being said, I was chatting with Chant, and we were discussing a potential contest, and we were thinking about doing flumes and slides, because this is Planet Coaster 2 after all, and that is the new thing. It would be on brand and thematic to do a Planet Coaster 2 flume contest for the first ever Planet Coaster 2 contest. And I think with these flume adjustments, and they said that you could do the G-forces now and check all that, now would probably be the time, but then there's better and more better adjustments coming down the road, and that also might be the time. But it doesn't mean we can't just do it twice. On the other hand, I was thinking of doing flat rides, and we just got, 3 new flat rides with the Thrill Pack. So let me know what you guys think down below. Do you want a flume contest or a flat ride contest. Fire away, and that is a look at the Planet Coaster 2 1.1 update. And yeah, not too bad. Let me know what you guys think of this update down below. And come on Discord and say hey-o. There you go, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye now.